Well, all right then. Let's get started. Hello, everyone. It's really nice of you to take time to join with us today on the fifth webinar in our five-part series, Intranet in the New Normal. The topic that we'll be addressing today is how we can enhance the digital workplace with everyday AI. The pandemic has brought us to an unforeseen transition in businesses across the world, and we all know that, right? In today's world, while some businesses are struggling to still figure out what could work with the remote working environment, the others are slowly trying to figure out ways how they can return back to the workplace safely. In either of these cases, the digital workplace has to be powered by AI. It becomes very crucial to make sure that the workers stay connected and engaged even during these challenging times. That's what that brings us to the topic that we have today, how we can enhance the digital workplace with everyday AI. In today's webinar, I'm very happy to introduce you or to welcome our guest speaker, Abhishek Shanbag. He has joined us today to share his deep insights on AI and automation and how AI can help during these challenging times. Abhishek heads the AI and automation practice at Accurate. With his deep expertise in the space of AI, automation, and collaboration platforms, this AI guru has worked very closely with a lot of clients across the world. He has consulted with them and provided the best fit solutions for our clients across multiple domains. These include manufacturing, retail, banking, finance, government, and more. You name it, he knows it. It is my pleasure to host Abhishek today during this webinar, and I'm really excited to pick his brains on how AI can help during these challenging times. Hello, Abhishek.
Hi, thank you, Poonam. You are too kind with my intro there, but I'm really glad to be here and I look forward to today's webinar.
Sure. Thank you so much, Abhishek. Before we get started and I start, asking all the questions to Abhishek, let me go ahead and give you a quick introduction about Accurate. So we have been in the industry for over 14 years now, and over this period of time, we have worked with a lot of clients across the globe, as you can see from some great logos on my screen here. Our focus with these clients has been around their digital transformation journey and how artificial intelligence can help speed up the entire process. We have been working with some great clients across multiple domains, and these span across, banking, CPG, manufacturing, and so on. During this journey, we have deployed a lot of solutions that leverage Microsoft Office 365, Azure, artificial learning, machine learning, and the lot. So let's get started. So Abhishek, in today's webinar, the format that I have changed the format a bit compared to our previous webinars, right? Because I have you, the expert here on the call. I have a lot of questions that I would like to just ask you as we go along. So first
Yeah,
and foremost, yeah.
yeah, sure. I really look forward to the questions. Yeah, we can get started, Poonam. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks, Abhishek. So first and foremost, the most essential question, right? Why exactly are we here? What exactly is everyday AI, and what's the role that we see everyday AI has to play in the digital workplace?
Sure. So if you take a look at AI or artificial intelligence, it's already prevalent in our lives and it touches us every day. So if you're using, let's say, Cortana on your Windows desktop, which helps you to search or find apps, let's say Siri on your iPhones or Google Assistant on Android, it was a simple adjustment by which these systems were simple adjustment in these systems so that it could help us to get to the information much faster and accomplish our tasks much easier. So what everyday AI does is it brings a steady but substantial value to the organizations. It helps the employee, it increases their efficiency, while at the same time it also provides a lot of cost saving. The most important thing when it comes to AI is to ensure that it does not disrupt the employee work and it helps to avoid the hesitation that is brought on by the introduction of these new technologies or new AI processes. So just like how we make use of various tools, apps, um, let's say tools like Teams, etc., for connecting with each other and for collaborating, so is the assisted AI work culture, which is becoming more prevalent. So just like remote work is here and it's here to stay, the it only means that our reliance on the digital and the virtual is going to increase by the day, and this leads the us to use AI in our everyday work lives, and that I feel is the relevance of everyday AI.
Well, thank you, Abhishek. That was so well put. Um, but Abhishek, we know that, thanks to this pandemic, organizations earlier that were very skeptical about remote working and did not really agree upon the remote working style, but today they have been forced to look at that. That's the only option they have. But then that also surfaces all those fears or myths around AI, right? Which has always been prevalent. So according to you, what's like the most popular myth that you keep listening to when you consult with customers?
Well, there are a lot of myths about AI, and during our a lot of us during our growing years, we have seen the likes of movies like the Terminator and the Space Odyssey, etc. And I think that there's a lot of fear about AI, and there are a lot of myths that AI will take over the human workforce and make us redundant, etc. I don't believe in that at all. See,
Mhm.
when I look at AI, I see it's a technology, just like any other tech, that's helping us, right? So AI specifically helps in augmenting human intelligence. It can never replace human intelligence. So while AI helps to reduce the time spent on repetitive tasks, it helps us to focus on the difficult problems that require human ingenuity. Um, we have seen this happen multiple times in the past. When new technology or new types of systems do come in, there are changes which happen to our society, our ways of life, etc. Let's take a look at the industrial revolutions themselves, right? And we have seen these happen throughout our modern history. The first industrial revolution was somewhere around the 19th century with steam engines and the likes. The second was in the early 1900s, and it was majorly around oil, electricity, power, etc. The third happened during our lifetime, in somewhere in the 80s, wherein there was a lot of digital revolution, the age of the internet, and so on. And the fourth one is happening right now, which is building on top of what happened in the third revolution, right? And the fourth revolution is about AI, it's about big data and robotics. And what's the common theme that we have seen with each revolution that has come is that our societies have changed, right? Our ways of living have changed. Each revolution has given us better access to education, transportation, jobs, and more. So all of the industry experts do believe that AI will replace 40% of the jobs that are repetitive, that are low value within the next 15 to 25 years. But at the same time, what's going to happen is it's going to help create new jobs that will not only fill this gap, but also create more opportunities for us. So I do feel that we have an extremely bright future to look forward to.
Awesome. That's really nice to hear, because generally people just are aware of, just a half bit of the story, as you rightly put that, it may take away some of the jobs, but then those are only the repetitive or the mundane ones. The human brain still does all the thinking. So yeah, we are here to stay and we are here to stay for quite a while. Thanks, Abhishek. Moving on, the so since we spoke about how people are working remotely and the importance of AI in the daily work day of a worker, and we try to bust some of the myths or the scares that people fears that people have. How exactly does artificial intelligence help the workforce now that people have been forced to work remotely? How does artificial intelligence fit in now, even more compared to the earlier days?
Yeah, so I think you are right. A lot of us are working remotely, and remote collaboration is more important now than ever. And what we have seen is that the digital collaboration tools have evolved, over the last couple of years, and now they have become more powerful or more helpful with the inclusion of of artificial intelligence. Organizations are evolving, they're making use of these tools. And typically what we have seen is that, innovation and collaboration that was done face to face within a room is now all being done remotely. So we all know about tools like MS Teams, which can help us get into meetings, do such webinars, etc. So I also wanted to show an example of another remote tool which can help remote workers collaborate effectively and innovate. It's a tool called Wave that we have developed here at Accurate, which is an innovation management platform. It works completely in the cloud and it helps bring all of the employees together. So what I'm going to do is let me just go ahead and quickly share my screen so that I can show you a quick preview of this tool and show you some of the features that are available and how this tool helps the remote worker effectively share their ideas.
Sure.
Okay, so I think I have successfully done that. Let me know once. Yeah, okay, cool.
Yes.
So if
Yes,
you
Abhishek.
can see, okay, great. So if you can see here on what I have on my screen is now essentially an innovation hub portal, or what we call as the Wave Idea Management portal. And this is a part of a larger solution that we have, which I'll speak about later, and possibly show certain demos as well, called Mesh, which is an AI augmented intranet platform. So what happens here within the idea management system is, employees can come in, they can look at all of the different ideas which have been posted by their colleagues and by different team members across the world. Let's say the organization wants to post certain challenges out, and ask for ideas, foster ideas within the employee community. They can do that as well. So let me go ahead and say that if I want to go ahead and post an idea here and I click on this button, I'm actually taken to a very simple idea submission form here. And the reason why it's simple is because we don't want to bring in a lot of friction between the employee and the system here. So we want to keep things simple. So let me go ahead and say that, hey, I want to submit an idea for online training, because that's something which a lot of us are doing nowadays. So what just happened here is that there is an AI system which is running behind the scenes, and it's suggesting that, what, there's a similar idea already put in by an employee here, maybe a colleague of mine, maybe someone from a different country, and I might not even have met them or spoken to them before, but I see that there's someone out there who has a similar idea as I do. So what I can do next is, rather than going ahead and creating my own idea, I can go ahead and click on this and see what's this idea all about. So I can click on view idea, and I have this already available here. So I can see that someone has put in an idea regarding online employee training. It's very similar to what I was thinking about. I can see all of the details. I can see what's the process that has happened, and all of this is very intuitive. It can be easily seen and understood. And the other very interesting thing that you will see here is that it also brings up related documents. And now these are some of the documents that I have access to, and they are related to this particular idea. So what's happening here is it's sort of personalizing the experience here. It is showing me that here is some information that you have probably accessed in the past or written in the past related to the keywords in the idea. And it also shows me other people who are working on similar such ideas or in this space who have expressed an interest, as well as articles from my wider knowledge within the organization. And so all of this is driven by AI, right? So it understood that I wanted to post an idea or an innovation regarding a particular topic. It then shows me that there are other people who are in the same space, or who are thinking in a very similar fashion, as well as others. So that's an example of how AI is helping remote workers, not just sort of connecting in the form of, let's say, your daily meetings and collaborating on documents, etc., but also with the help of such tools which can help the employees sort of ideate and collaborate more effectively within the enterprise.
Wow, that's great, Abhishek. So, basically, there are times when AI may ultimately pop up in my day-to-day work, and I may not even realize it. Just like you showed me how neatly the similar idea that just came up, right? That's really great. So I do realize that with the innovation tool that you just showed us, that's a great way for me to contribute towards the growth of my organization, to stay connected, collaborate with people with similar ideas, and so on. But then again, this kind of brings me to the next bit, right? So what about the corporate culture while we are working remotely? How do the organizations need to adapt, to support this growing trend? Because we realize remote work is going to stay here for a while. So how do they continue supporting this remote work culture, but at the same time also promote the corporate culture? What can be done?
Yes. So a lot of us are working remotely, and as we have seen, the tools have sort of evolved to support this type of culture. And these tools are very simple, right? My 7-year-old, he's able to operate the laptop and log in into their online classes for on Zoom and Teams, etc. So these tools are getting simpler. They're getting easier to use. Like anyone from let's say 7 to 70 can easily use these tools out there. So organizations can easily put in the right technology in place for their remote workers. That's something which we know a lot of organizations already have out there. But the important thing is it's not just about the technology alone. It also has to be much more around how we enable organizations to work effectively when the employees and the workforce is distributed. So instead of simply thinking about it as giving the tools to the people, we must also start thinking about how is it that these tools are being used? Looking at the actual user needs and the processes that are getting used. Giving them the right kind of support and training. And the most important thing is using these tools as a digital platform in the absence of the physical connect, which we all have been used to, right? So, for example, at Accuvate, we are using tools for virtual water cooler sessions so that teams can hang out but not really, talk about work all the time. So we have a weekly connect with a lot of the different teams wherein we just connect and talk about, what's happening in each other's projects. My team specifically connects on a daily basis in the evening, and they all share a cup of tea while they're on a call. So you see, it's the use of these tools, but not just for work, but also to foster a culture wherein people feel connected and they are connected through the digital platform. If you look at some of the work that we have done for our customers, we have built applications by which our customers are not just connecting employees to each other, but they're also sending out proactive health check notifications. For a particular customer, we have helped them to send out almost 2 million notifications to their knowledge and factory workers in the last 3 months. And this has helped this customer to collect a lot of the necessary data about their employees' health, safety, and well-being. So you see, it's the tools and the platforms are available, but what's more important is the right use to create this culture, and in most cases to also foster this culture of making sure that the employees and people are connected. Let me show you another quick example of an application that we use here within Accurate, and we call it as AccuSafe. So AccuSafe is an app that we have built in response to the global pandemic. And what this app essentially does is, it's available within my Microsoft Teams. So if I'm using my company laptop, I have access to this app, but I can also use this app on my phone. I can use this on a different computer just by logging into my work account if I don't have access to my work computer. And what I can get with the help of this app is I can have all of the information related to how accurate my company is keeping us safe in the course of this pandemic. I can also look at FAQs. I can share my emergency contact details, and if I need help, this app can be used to quickly reach out to the right person within my organization, irrespective of which part of the globe I'm in, so that I can get help in a timely manner. So in summary, what I can say is that organizations must embrace remote work, but they should also reimagine how things were done traditionally to better fit the new normal.
Wow. That's really great. And that example on sending out those millions of notifications, I think that's really neat, especially while we are working remotely and we really need to stay updated as an organization about the whereabouts, about the well-being of the employees. And that in turn, helps to build that trust and loyalty factor as well. And the example on AccuSafe, definitely Abhishek, because the last time I had issues with my laptop, I know where I checked. How can I get the replacement? So yeah, it definitely makes sense. Cool. So Abhishek, there has been a lot of conversations about not just getting access to the right information to the information of the organization, but also making sure that it is kind of personalized for me, right? Like for instance, if I am say based out of the US today, and if there is a policy change happening within the organization thanks to the COVID, I do not want to look at the change that happened for UK. I would rather read only for the US. So how exactly can the organizations go ahead and create this personalized digital experience for their employees?
Sure. And I think that's a key aspect that you have touched upon there. Personalization is very important for a good employee experience, and it also helps the wider adoption of the various tools that an organization would have deployed for their employees. One thing that we have to do note, however, that any kind of personalization requires data, right? Because when you have data, you can mine that data and you can create personalized experiences. Traditionally, apps and systems have had access to some sort of system of records for an employee. So things like their name, designation, location or country, language, etc. And this information was used to create a personalized experience. So if you're logging into let's say a portal, there's a welcome message that shows up with my name. If I have set a preferred language for within a corporate mobile app, next time when I log in into the app, it'll show me that particular interface in that language and stuff like that, right? But today we have access to more data, and this data is responsible for showing things like the tasks that I'm working on, the projects that I have completed, any awards that I have won, documents or proposals or white papers that I have written, and so on. So there's so much more data today. And what AI does is it helps us to mine this data so that we can create better personalized experiences. And all of this happens behind the scene. For example, so we use Office 365 at Accurate, right? And what happens is I get a daily briefing email from Cortana on my potential tasks that I may have missed, as well as any free time that's available on my calendar so that I can book focus time and I can get some of my important tasks done. This is just a small example of personalization using the power of AI and data, but at the same time, it's making sure that my privacy is protected. So I can control what kind of data do I want to share. How much do I want to make things available for the AI systems so that it can help me with these tasks. The other thing is it's equally important to remove the friction in the employees' day-to-day work. And I know that I have spoken about this earlier as well today, because what happens in most organizations is that people are working in silos, right? Employees often have to deal with dozens of systems just to get a simple work done. So while it's important to personalize, it's also very, very important to create a simplified and a unified experience that does away with all of this fragmentation and information living in silos. And a great way example that I can talk to you about where both these things are happening, personalization using AI and removing the friction from these various systems, is what's happening is the way we have imagined and built the mesh intranet portal. So mesh is another solution that we have built here at Accurate. And what mesh is an autonomous intranet platform that is built using artificial intelligence at its core, and then all of the various features that you would expect from any digital employee digital platform like an intranet. So if you take a look at what we are seeing here on the portal, as soon as I log in, I can see all the information which is recommended for me. So I can see some news articles. I can see certain blog articles written by various people within my organization. I can also see various announcements which are being posted by my organization here within the intranet portal. And what's happening is, this information is personalized for me. I can take a look at my feed, which is my personalized feed, or I can also take a look at local, that is my country level, or my department or division level information and news, all available here. At the same time, I can further personalize this by providing data myself. So every piece of information that I interact with on this portal, it helps the AI system to learn, and it saves it in my preferences or within the saved articles, etc. If I scroll down further, I can also see recommended events that I can join. It is showing me the ideas from the idea portal that we saw a while back. It's bringing all of my team's conversation in one place. So, as I'm on this portal, I can actually branch off into a team's conversation where I was at mentioned, or something interesting that is going on within the teams that I'm a part of. Recommended documents as well as people, so that I can gain more knowledge as I'm going through the portal, as well as get connected to people with a similar interest that I have, and many more such features, right? So this is a great example wherein AI uh, is helping with the personalization of the content, but at the same time, it's also removing the friction. I don't have to go to 10 different places just to get my work done. Here I can see my tickets from ServiceNow, I can see my holidays, I can see my leaves from Workday, and so much more. The other thing that I also wanted to show you, which actually shows the power of AI, is the search experience that is built into the portal, right? Because what you just saw is a great example of AI bringing up content for me. But what if I want to go and search for information? So let me just pull up this search screen that I have here. And so this is the enterprise search experience which is available, within the portal. And again, it's driven via AI. So it's bringing me the most relevant information for me based on the profiling data that's available within the system, and I can apply further filters like location, department, so on and so forth. I can see all of the results across various systems, be it within the portal or external to the portal. I can also see people results based on the search keywords, and as well as video results here. And one of the cool things that I wanted to quickly show about the video results is it uses AI to not just show me video results based on, let's say, the title of the video, but it is doing further analysis, and it is showing me things like, what are the key topics that are defined in the video, who are the key people who are appearing in the video using facial recognition. It looks at what are the labels, etc. So this is a great way by which, let's say if I'm in a role wherein it needs me to take a look at a lot of media related information, I can rely on AI to pretty much do 80% of the manual tasks that I used to do. So be it recognizing someone, or let's say creating a transcript from the video, all of this is getting done automatically with the help of artificial intelligence that is running within the portal. So in summary, what I wanted to essentially show you here was that with the use of with the right use of tools, it's easy to bring in the personalization. It's very easy to remove the friction, make things more seamless, and create a one digital experience, for your employees.
Wow, that's really good, Abhishek. Especially the fact that you showed us that how we could pull in data from multiple business applications onto the single platform like the intranet. I think especially when we are working remotely, it makes it that much more easier, right? I do not have to log into that many more applications to look at any particular content that I have in mind. So that's great. So the other thing I wanted to bring in was, so when we spoke about how intranet can bring in, and then you showed us the great search experience that we could bring in within the intranet. So apart from this, what other tools do you recommend, for organizations that they should bring in to ensure that their remote workers can stay connected and have all the updated information?
Yeah, sure. So if you think about all of the tools that we are using today, AI is now embedded into pretty much every tool that is out there. So even if I'm using, let's say, Microsoft Word or Excel, if I'm using Excel, it shows me insights. It recommends charts based on the data that I already have within my Excel sheet. If I'm working on a PowerPoint presentation, and I drop an image, it comes up with design suggestions and ideas as to how I can best represent my idea within the presentation. Similarly, let's say I've received a Word document from a colleague working in a colleague working in, let's say, Brazil, in Brazilian Portuguese. Rather than trying to interpret the document, I can say translate, and the whole document would get translated to English without me going anywhere else. So you see, AI is now available in every single system that we use, pretty much every single system that we use. And uh, there's no specific, in my opinion, there's no specific AI tool as such, right? Because AI is just like any other technology now, like internet or like mobile, cloud, etc. Right? However, virtual agents and chatbots, they're of a lot of interest to me, because I feel that digital assistants or virtual agents, they're a great example of how you can bring the user, how you can get the user to use a system in a very easy manner, without really thinking about what's happening behind the scenes. So chatbots can be used for a variety of different things, right? You can use them for IT help, HR support, finance related areas like in the areas of purchase to pay, etc. Legal and compliance related areas. For example, you can have a bot which can answer legal questions or compliance related questions that your employees have, which they would typically put it in an email and send it to someone within the compliance team. So all of that sort of repetitive tasks can come inside a chatbot. For your sales, you can have chatbots for your sales team by which they can have easy access to their sales numbers and performance. Bots for customer support are a rage nowadays. We have seen so many of our customers have deployed chatbots on their websites to sort of help reduce their cost per contact on their contact center. So essentially with chatbots, what I feel is that, a lot of the front office and L1 support automation can be achieved. And these chatbots can always connect or, in quotes, talk to back office robots to further automate and seamlessly connect our front office and back office together. So in terms of the various tools, my recommendation would be to definitely take a look at what virtual assistants and chatbots bring to the table, because that's sort of like a quick way to get started, see the value of AI, and then see how the same can be applied in other areas of the business. And to sort of quickly drive that point, I have a few digital assistants here, within my Microsoft Teams, and I wanted to quickly, show you a few things that they can do. So here I have a digital assistant called Digit. Now, Digit is an enterprise assistant, so it can do many different things. It can do IT, HR, sales, procurement, talk to an agent, which is essentially, if this bot is not able to help me with my question or with the thing that I want to get done, I can click on talk to an agent and get connected to my contact center. So I really don't have to leave my Microsoft Teams interface, and I can get live support directly on chat from the chatbot here. At the same time, if I click on any of these areas, it's actually going to show me, what are all the available help. So if I say I need IT help, it's going to show me help with login issues, maybe software installation help, assets and hardware, and so on, and many more. If I say I need help with HR, it can show me all of the policy related information, employee information, and so on. And there's so much more that can be done with the help of an enterprise agent. I also wanted to quickly show you another chatbot here, which is a sales assistant, slightly different for a slightly different targeted audience. This is for my field sales team, wherein what this bot can do is it can bring information related to how my business is performing, some of the key KPIs that are the indicators towards a healthy sales business. And this is more of a reporting bot, right? So if whenever we think about chatbots, we typically think about, okay, bot's going to help me solve a problem or raise a ticket and get me access to support. But these categories of chatbots are what we call as data assistants, and so they can not just help you with information, but they can also help you with information related to data. And the best thing is these are integrated with your traditional sort of BI systems that are available within the enterprise. So for example, if I say I want to take a look at the competitor analysis, it not just shows me a preview of the report, but then it can actually load the entire Power BI dashboard for me to further drill down and do further analysis, using that. So in short, when we look at AI tools, or if we look at the recommended AI tools in today's world, while AI is there everywhere, I would definitely do recommend taking a look at virtual agents and see how they can help improve the employee experience and productivity.
Wow. So basically, what you just walked us through these virtual assistants. So they may not just be limited to my simple FAQs that I would ask the IT or the HR guy, but then I could even take it to the next level where I'm pulling in those dashboards, etc., which normally I would have to go and log in into a Power BI or a Tableau platform. Rather, I just go ahead and query from the bot and get it right there on my chat window.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
really sure. That's really neat, Abhishek. So now I'm curious. We just spoke about um, the cool features that you walked us through on the intranet that you just showed, right? You showed us about how data is being presented to us. You showed us this great search engine, and honestly, for a minute there, I felt that it was something like a Bing or a Google search, not just a regular enterprise search. But then we saw the bots, how bots are helping me as the end user to get quick access to information, and this could be on my Teams channel or any other channel, I'm sure. So then where does it leave, platforms like the intranet or the extranet and all these digital platforms? Are these really here to stay? And should organizations be investing in these platforms, or, it's what's your opinion on that front?
Well, that's a great question, and thanks for asking, because intranets have always been very close to my heart. I have been working on digital platforms and intranets for more than a decade now. So it's thank you so much for the question.
Sure.
And so what I've seen in more than a decade of working on specifically on digital platforms, be it intranet portals, extranet, customer portals, etc., is that they have evolved over the years, right? So if you look at back in the day, SharePoint 2003, SharePoint MOS 2007, everything was on premise, and a lot of these systems were primarily used as document sharing platforms. There was no OneDrive. Everything was either a file share or something like a SharePoint portal, where if you save a file, you can do things like versioning, you can run workflows on it and stuff like that, right? So that's sort of like the birth of the intranet, primarily a platform wherein people could put their files and then someone else could download it and then edit it and save it back, right? But then slowly other aspects started coming in, like communication. So being able to post an announcement, being able to put an event information in there so that everyone could look at it and could learn. And so especially for large enterprises with offices in different parts of the world, an intranet platform has always been a place where all employees can come in and get the information that they want. Uh, what happened next is bringing more collaboration features, so things like features like discussion forums, and other places where people could ask questions and other people could respond, etc. Those were the new other features which came in, followed by enterprise social features and so on. But if you take a look at what's happening today, there are specialized tools for each one of these areas. So we have OneDrive for file sharing now. We have teams for our communication, for collaborating with each other within a team or across teams, etc. We have Yammer as a tool for social collaboration, and so the intranet, and what the sort of traditional intranet was doing back in the day is now there are specialized tools to be able to do that. But still, there's a need for a single digital go-to platform for all of the employees. And we have seen an example of that with Mesh, right? If you recollect the homepage of Mesh, everything was in one single place. So even though I'm using OneDrive for my files, I'm using Teams for collaboration, I'm using Yammer for my social, I see everything in one single place. And I think that's very, very important for two things, right? The first one is reducing friction, which is important if you want to, for the second item, which is improving adoption, right? So if you want your employees to adopt these various technologies, if you want them to be able to find things much easily in one place, I think an intranet is very, very important. And nowadays, what we're seeing is that chatbots are coming onto the intranet as well. I know I spent some time speaking about chatbots, but on the Mesh intranet page, and let me just bring that up real quick so that for our benefit. So you can see here that we have all the information in one single place. I also have a chatbot here, which I can access on my intranet, or I can access this particular chatbot within Microsoft Teams, right? So everything is available here for me. And I think that's one of the key reasons why intranets are going to, stand the test of time.
Sure. So if I had to sum that up really quick, so it's like kind of the glue that holds everything in place, right? So we may
Yeah.
be using so many different tools in our digital workplace. They, as you rightly put, there are these messaging applications, the conversation applications like the Teams, and we have the backend applications. We also have Yammer that allows us to have discussions, ask questions and so on. But then the intranet could be designed, and now thanks to the latest technology powered by AI, as you showed us, the intranet could be designed in such a way where we could bring all these things into one central place. So maybe the first thing, in the day when I log in and I look at my intranet, I have a complete overview of what's happening across multiple applications, and I also know what will help me get my work done for the day. So yeah, that's definitely a given. So yeah, intranets are definitely here to stay for quite a while. Well, so then that brings me to kind of my last question for the day. So, Abhishek, now with the pandemic and the change in the way people are working, and we do realize that, sadly, the crisis is here and it's here to stay for a while. What are the kind of changes that you're seeing, the transformation trends that you are observing, right? What are the kind of innovation and investments that the organizations should be planning for the coming years?
Sure. So what you're saying is right in terms of what we are seeing today and what's happening to our world. I think it's going to be here for some time. And so in terms of the key investments areas or the key transformation trends for the future, I think a lot of it we have covered, and we have also seen different examples during the course of this webinar today. So I have a quick slide here which essentially talks about what are the different focus areas for an organization so that they are ready not just for today but also for the future, right? And so if I would like to highlight each one of these, so the first one is crisis management suite, and this is one of the essential apps that we have built, which helps the organization to quickly be ready in the face of a crisis, right? And we have seen an example of that with the AccuSafe application that I showed. That's actually a part of our essential apps crisis management suite. The second area of investment, I would say, would be uh, the workplace management suite. And so what this does is, as we are getting adjusted to the new normal and as we are slowly returning back to the workplace, the workplace management suite helps us to do things like take care of social distancing measures when employees are returning to work, enable employees to book a location of for work, take a look at the office map, book a seat where they can come in and actually work from the office, let's say 1 day a week or 2 days a month, whatever that may be, as per their needs. The third is what we have seen in I would say a fairly good amount of detail is the autonomous intranet mesh, which helps keep employees connected. So any intranet platform or any digital platform which can keep employees connected, augmented with AI so that it helps employees be more productive and get to the information faster and recommends information for them. The fourth area is support digital agents, right? We've seen examples of IT and HR support, sales support, etc. And so these digital assistants can seamlessly take care of your front office support, your L1 support, reduce the cost per contact, deflect tickets from your contact center, so that a lot of the cost saving happens at the chatbot level. And I would say the more important thing is 24/7 availability. Not every organization can have like a support team available 24/7 whenever a remote employee wants to get help. And so these chatbots can also help in those situations wherein, let's say, there's after hour support involved, or there's some sort of weekend support involved. That first level of triage and help gives a lot of confidence to the employee, saying that yes, there are systems in place to help me out whenever I need them. And finally, especially in today's day and age, and for the specific enterprises dealing with supply chain disruptions, it's very important to have this in check. And so solutions which can aid that in terms of tracking the priority as well as profitability of the products, etc. We have seen a quick example of that with the help of the SIA chatbot, which is actually showing us, how the business is performing. It can also do competitor analysis, show recommendations, and it can help optimize the overall supply chain. So I would say that, at a high level, these are the key areas of focus. And of course, we can delve into the next level of detail that, certain solutions might not be applicable in its entirety for an organization. Maybe it's a part of the solution that they're looking for. And that's where, we as an organization, Accurate, can certainly help them to do that.
Definitely, Abhishek. Thank you so much. That kind of rounded up the whole thing for us. That really helps. Abhishek, before we move on, we have a question from one of our attendees. I have it on the screen as well. So, how many disparate data sources can be connected to virtual agents? What readiness does it require for the existing infrastructure?
I'm sorry, what was the question again? I was clicking on mute. I'm so sorry.
No,
Yeah.
no worries. So the question is around how many disparate data sources can be connected to virtual agents and what readiness does it require for existing infrastructure?
Okay, great. So in terms of the number of data sources that can be connected, I would say there is no limit as such to the data sources. As long as there is a means by which these sources can be connected, these can be brought within the virtual data assistant. I believe that this question is more for the virtual data assistants, but I'll also talk a little bit about the other support chatbots. And what sort of preparation is required for this data? See, if you're looking at consuming data, what we have enabled with the help of the data assistant chatbots is that they can ingest data. Ingestion means that in simple words, they can just look at the data, look at the structure of the data, and then automatically learn the different ways in which people can ask questions on the data. So for example, if I have got, let's say, a data model which has sales figures, revenue figures, cost figures, etc. You can ask a question regarding profit percentage, and the bot will be able to answer that particular question without you explicitly training that kind of an intelligence in the chatbot. So as far as the digital data assistants are concerned, we have a lot of ways in which the data gets ingested and these insights are extracted, and the supported language models also are pre-built. in the sense that they are pre-created or automatically generated as a part of that. Now, when we look at the other chatbots, which are the IT support, the HR support, or any kind of generic FAQ type of chatbots, as long as you have content in the form of FAQs, questions, maybe logs from your existing support desks, records of previous interactions from your live desk, all of that data can be used to further train the chatbot and put this information in them. It does require a little bit of data cleansing. We might have to cleanse the data, make it more appropriate for ingestion, language ingestion inside a chatbot. But this is something that we have done multiple times over for so many customers. It's become kind of second nature for us.
Sure. Thank you, Abhishek, and I hope that answered the question. In case there are any additional questions, please make sure to write to us at info@accurate.com and we'd be glad to get back to you. All right then. So thanks a lot, Abhishek. I really appreciate your deep insights around, how artificial intelligence can help us with our day-to-day work and how it can empower the digital workplaces so that while we are working remotely, we stay connected and productive, contribute towards the growth of the business, and thus indirectly contribute towards our growth as well. So thank you so much for your time on that. Um,
You're most welcome.
Sure. Thank you. So as part of this series, this was the fifth one as part of our five-part series on intranet in the new normal. And as part of these series, we have been discussing multiple different topics around how we could help the remote workforce stay productive. We've discussed about how, with a little bit of planning and strategizing the kind of AI that you can bring into your intranet, and even Abhishek showcased a demo quickly for us today, how it can be designed to make sure that it just does not function as a document management system, but rather it becomes the daily habit of your employees to come back and, to stay connected, get the right kind of information. We've also spoken about how the right kind of AI powered collaboration tools can ensure that even though we are working remotely, we collaborate with our employees, not just on work related things, but also try to bring in a virtual water cooler to help us stay connected, just like the cool coffee breaks that we spoke about a while ago. And for your information, that's a norm in Accurate these days. We also discussed about the importance of innovation in one of our webinars, where we took a deep dive in how innovation is relevant even during this crisis, why we as organizations should not stop investing in the innovation management system, and how we can make it better. And finally, we discussed about how an intelligent enterprise search could bring in the exact information that your workforce is looking for, and they can stay productive, not jump into multiple business applications, get all they need in that central hub of information. So with that, we have kind of concluded this five-part series. In case you missed out on any of the webinars or you want to get access to a recording of the same, please feel free to write to us at info@accurate.com. So until then, stay safe, stay productive, stay productive, and stay in touch. Take care. Thank you.